Welcome to Drive Clean Chicago's webinar series, Voices of Drive Clean Chicago, the Vehicles and the Fleets Who Use Them. My name is Alicia Gildy, and I am a Regional Director for CalSTART, a national clean transportation organization driven to promote the adoption and commercialization of clean vehicle technologies. We are also a project partner to the Drive Clean Chicago program. Our team has put together this very important webinar series to introduce you to the participants that are making Drive Clean Truck Voucher Fund a success. With today's program, we're going to hear from two vehicle technology manufacturers that offer eligible technologies through the Drive Clean Truck Voucher Fund, and we'll hear from their fleet customers that are successfully applying these technologies in the business environment today. So I'm going to now introduce you to the 5 presenters that we will have in today's program. First, we're going to hear from Samantha Bingham with the Chicago Department of Transportation. Sam is the visionary behind the Drive Clean Chicago program. She was responsible for putting this program together and for finding the funds to help provide incentives for hybrid electric technologies offered through the Drive Clean Chicago program. Sam is going to talk about the Drive Clean Truck Voucher Fund, the incentives that are available, and why you should participate. Then we will hear from 2 panels. One will feature an all-electric vehicle technology, and the second will feature a hybrid vehicle technology. The first panel, we're going to hear from Mike Saxton with Orange EV and about their all-electric vehicle technology. And David Williams from Excel is going to talk about how that Orange EV technology is successfully being applied in the field. Secondly, we're going to hear with panel 2 from Dr. Edward Lovelace with Excel Hybrid and how their hybrid technology can help improve efficiency. And Tony Wojtowicz with Quality Carpet Cleaning will talk about how the Excel Hybrid technology is helping their business. All right, with further ado, I'm going to hand it over to Sam. Sam, take it away.
Thanks, Alicia. I just wanted to take a quick second to introduce myself. My name is Samantha Bingham, and I'm your point of contact at the Chicago Department of Transportation for the Drive Clean Chicago program. Drive Clean Truck is an important program that helps us meet the goals of the city's sustainability roadmap. We at the city cannot reach our goals through our actions alone. We need businesses and government leaders throughout the region who understand the importance of improving our local air quality, mitigating the impact of global climate change, and reducing our dependence on foreign oil to take action with us as well. CDOT's role in all of this is to help bring down the upfront cost of these new efficient vehicles that help make an impact on and serve, and so we're here to help provide upfront reduction of the cost of these vehicles, but then also to serve as a non-biased information and educational resource for fleets who are looking to make investments in greening their fleet. You can contact me at any time at samantha.bingham@cityofchicago.org, or if you have any questions about the program, you can also send an email to our entire team at info@drivecleanchicago.com.
Thank you so much, Alicia and Sam, for the introduction and for all your efforts. Thank you to the CalSTART Clean Cities organizations and the Drive Clean program. It's been fantastic. I want to also, from Orange EV and myself, thank our friends at Excel and DHL Supply Chain for their leadership adopting clean technologies and our T-Series. Here you see a picture of the first Orange EV T-Series electric terminal truck built for Excel and DHL Supply Chain. You know terminal trucks by a lot of names. We call them terminal trucks, but you may call them hostlers, spotters, yard trucks, mules, goats, buggies, shifters, and a lot more. I think I've counted upwards of 30 names that people use. So that we're all on the same page, Alicia, would you please roll the video, the truck in action?
You betcha. me bring this up so everyone can see it. All right.
Thanks, Alicia. So you've seen them before. We'll talk about where you see them here shortly. Next slide, please. Okay, so available through the Drive Clean Chicago program, we're focused on two types of the T-Series, both the standard duty and the extended duty truck with larger battery pack. With the trucks you get, and this is in quotes, a new truck you already know. And we can build that truck for you more quickly and cost effectively compared to a new truck, and greatly simplifying acceptance. Your drivers and mechanics really do know this truck already. They're better trucks. So some of the benefits of getting a T-Series really boil down to the fact that it's a better truck, so cooler, quieter, smoother, and cleaner, which you can get at purchase for less than a new diesel, and then with which save operationally up to 90% on fuel and more in maintenance and other areas. And we'll talk more about that in a moment. Next slide, please. So terminal trucks are used anywhere you find those cargo trailers in the terminal points. So when the semis that are moving the trailers long distance from state to state or around the city reach their destination, it's usually our terminal trucks that take over. The destination can be a distribution center, manufacturing plant, warehouse, rail intermodal site, port, etc. Anywhere that you have that yard where the cargo trailers are being managed. In and out of docks for unloading and loading, for positioning underneath the cranes at the rail intermodal for loading onto a rail car, etc. And that really has to do with the fact that, our trucks end up taking over in those tighter spaces because they've got a shorter wheelbase and they're more efficient in their design at lower speeds. So they're more maneuverable and more fuel efficient. Additionally, each of these trucks is equipped with a hydraulic lift, also referred to as a fifth wheel, that makes the whole process of hooking up, lifting, and repositioning those containers much speedier. So instead of the semi drivers having to get out of the cab and walk around and hand winch the legs up. Next slide, please. All right. So today's T-Series is a complete remanufacture of your existing trucks, or with the Drive Clean Chicago program, any truck that you send to us to use and turn into a T-Series. In about a year, we'll also be offering an all-new truck. So like new today, all new tomorrow with the T-Series. This approach does enable us to deliver your trucks much more quickly and cost effectively. And for you, the operator that's taking the first steps in moving away from diesel and towards electric, it gives you a great way to begin that migration so that you move up the learning curve and have data operating trucks on site, so that when you're making those larger deployment decisions, you have not only the remanufactured option, today's T-Series, but then new as well. The price that you'll see in a few moments per truck is really on a solution price basis, so everything included. For the most part, there are just a few exceptions. So if you want air conditioning, for example, there's an extra fee for that. But by and large, for the one price, you get the truck, charging, training, owner manuals, customized settings, warranty, and technical support. And we build the truck to suit your site requirements and meet your 24/7 needs, doing the same job they're doing today. Next slide, please. So the trucks, we've had our trucks demonstrated at a broad range of customer environments, from warehouse and distribution to manufacturing sites and rail intermodal. The quotes that you see here are direct quotes from the drivers and supervisors that were involved in those demonstrations. We've got stories behind each one. Please give me a call. I'm happy to share the details. They're really, they are sometimes funny stories. My favorite is the The one in the middle, I can hear the radio. That was from a driver that was frustrated. He'd been losing hearing in his right ear, I believe it was, and getting in trouble because he was missing call-outs on the dispatch radio. Well, as soon as he hopped in our truck, he could hear the dispatch radio and was having absolutely no problem meeting his meeting requirements, hearing the call-out. Next slide, please. Okay, so we build the trucks using standard options in the design. So that's the charging solution, how we end up building your truck, and the rest of the elements to tap into your site electrical to charge the truck. Other standard option, battery size. But to know how to build the truck to both meet your requirements operationally and manage costs, we gather just a little bit of information, and you see it here. So what's your current fleet comprised of? Ottawas, capacities, the material condition of the current trucks, the workload, so what's your shift schedule, how many hours do you work them during the day and through the year, and the fuel consumption, etc. Just a little bit of information. We can specify the truck we build for you and even give you a sense of the cost savings you derive as well. Next slide, please. So the pricing and the Drive Clean Chicago impact is per truck here for both the standard and extended duty. So each price is the per truck price less the Drive Clean Chicago, and then the resulting net price. A couple of important points here. First, the net price there you'll see is significantly less than the cost of a new diesel truck. The Tier 4 finals are costing in California about $125,000 per truck, and they actually require additional maintenance and more consumable products to support that system. The Drive Clean Chicago program pays that amount, the $150,000 per truck, to us directly so that you, the purchaser, are never chasing money. The price that you pay is the net price on the right-hand side there, dramatically reducing the amount for which you'd be budgeting and signing. Next slide, please. Now, the benefits are many, and it's more than people realize, starting with top-line revenue impact. We already have customers that are have already won new business, so third-party logistics trucking companies that are picking up new manufacturing and distribution site customers because they're bringing our trucks. Earlier this week, we had 3 trucks arrive at our facility that were a part of that benefit. But you're also going to enjoy increased popularity with the local communities around which you're operating. And of course, you yourself are going to save dramatically in operational costs. So up to 90% in fuel. That's because the system efficiencies are so different. Your diesels are about 15, maybe 20% efficient, where the electric drivetrain we utilize is about 90% efficient. So you're saving net up to 90%, depends on your application, but it's significant. In maintenance, you're saving significantly because we've eliminated the motor and the transmission, so 100% of the maintenance related to those is gone. You're dramatically reducing the maintenance required on your truck brakes because we actually use the system itself to brake, and you won't very often use those standard truck brakes. They're still there, but you just won't use them. So fewer opportunities to replace pads, etc. And then finally, this other category over here is significant. Historically, they've been viewed as soft dollar costs that were more difficult to consider, but we've already seen instances of them being utilized as well in the decision to move to electric. I won't go into great detail here. I can share more, when you reach out, but just know that there's a lot of money associated with these different line items, and it's more and more easy to attribute them and consider them in the purchase decision. Next slide, please. And this is where I want to introduce Dave Williams and hand off, knowing that he's the one you really want to hear from. Dave, take it away.
All right, thanks, Mike, and thanks, Samantha. This is actually the second time I've done business with Samantha. We got together it's 4.5 years ago now on some CNG equipment, a similar type program. So it's a great program for the city of Chicago and trying to move this area forward in terms of green activity. So appreciate those efforts there and glad we can participate. On to the next slide. So as mentioned, our company and our customers are aggressively pursuing emission reduction opportunities and looking for all opportunities to collaborate with vendors, customers to take advantage of some of these technologies. The purchase was enabled, as Mike touched on, by the grants from the government, which go directly to the vendor, which really made it easy for us. We did the CNG grant 4.5 years ago or so. Quite a long process. It's much easier in comparison. So the technology, as Mike said, we run a 24/7 operation here, and our loaded trailers are 45,000 pounds. So it's a good test. We're in the Chicago area. We've got all the weather you can imagine. So it's a really good test for this type of equipment. This particular tractor we've had now for I think about 3 months. We're doing 80 and 90 loads per day, 24/7. We're supporting outbound goods distribution from a customer warehouse. And some of the factors that have lent us to a good opportunity here, it's a flat topography. We've got incentives for, as I said, the major metropolitan Chicago area to pursue these type of technologies. And the timing was right that we did have an old tractor that was sitting here. We were done pouring money into it, and it was about 12 years old, and the timing was right. And as Mike mentioned, they just they take it away, sandblast it, gut it, and brought it back looking like that. So it really did work out pretty much as he described it. Next slide, please. So how has it changed our fleet? We have experienced 85 to 90% fuel savings, projecting somewhere in the neighborhood of $22,000 savings. And part of the reason for that is based on the low fuel costs. We've all been enjoying low fuel costs lately, so that reduces the amount of savings you can illustrate. But we all know it's going to go back up at some time, and that the cost control of the electric power is going to stay the same. So maintenance savings, we've had very little, really too little to project, but as Mike pointed out, there's a lot of what usually goes wrong with these vehicles has been eliminated. And the calculations for the emissions reductions, I lean on our internal department to make those calculations, but projecting a full year elimination of 74 tons of emissions. This has been a really good application for our truck. It runs as advertised. I think Mike said they can go as fast as 25. We had it set at about 18, so it can operate at efficient speeds whenever they need it, and it picks up the heavy trailers and moves them across the yard just like our diesel trucks do. The deployment time, we've been that's a work in progress. As I said, we're 24/7. We have some in heavy periods. We've got extra drivers in here, so we're trying to limit the drivers that are trained and understand the equipment. So we're not able to use it quite as much yet as we need to. But we've had weeks as high as 62, 63% of all the available time. And through our test period, we did have a time where we ran it right at 24 hours straight without recharging. So it does what they say it'll do. Would we purchase another vehicle? Yes, and we have another candidate yard tractor sitting here that we would have disposed of. So we're still kind of in the testing phase and proving it out through the larger corporation. But yes, we definitely would plan to do that. And would we recommend this process to other fleets? Yes, I think it's been a really good experience. It hasn't been perfect. There's been a few tweaks and twitches. A lot of them were driver initiated. Some comfort features that the engineers may not have anticipated. But yeah, we're to the point now where I think we've gone over all the obstacles, and it's running really well, and we're getting some really good data. The reporting part of it is very sophisticated as well, and user-friendly. Especially someone of my age can figure it out, and they help me walk through it, and it gives you a lot of good information. It's pretty easy to access, so we're using that data to develop a track record here. I have really not seen any financial downside to it yet. It's really been as advertised. Next slide. So here's an example of one particular week of savings. This is kind of how we're projecting it. You can this was an early week, so the key on time wasn't real high, but this is how we're illustrating the savings. We've seen weeks that would give us a run rate of up to $25,000 a year, and again, that's at the comparing it to the diesel rate of about $270, $280 in this area. So as it sneaks up over $3, and it was over $4 not that long ago, the returns will be much, much more significant. That's kind of, in the bottom right there is the energy inputs and the emission reductions that have been calculated by our internal green department. And this is, again, what we're tracking and projecting to show the benefits not only financially, but in the emission reduction. Next slide. I guess that's it, and that's our contact information. Emily Davis, who is on this call but muted, she's the Excel Sustainability Program Manager, and she's been really helpful in implementing and helping set up the tracking reports. It'll help us promote this and justify the second piece of equipment that we're going to try and get on before too long. So I guess that's it for me right now.
Hello, everyone. So this is Ed Lovelace from XL Hybrids, and I'm based out of Boston. And thanks again for attending this webinar. XL Hybrids is a North American leader in fleet electrification solutions, and our primary area is commercial and municipal fleets. Next slide. So our currently available product line is a hybrid electric upfit for major OEM Class 2 to Class 6 vans, buses, and trucks that provides primarily cost savings, mostly in fuel, but also in brake and productivity savings, and also has CO2 reductions to support sustainability goals. From the presentation today, you'll see that for fleets that make many stops and drive in urban or suburban traffic, XL Hybrid solution is particularly well suited to deliver savings that provide a simple, sustainable solution without compromise. This is because XL Hybrid solution requires no major vehicle modifications, and the OEM powertrain and warranty stays completely intact. While XL Hybrids has successfully tested our system on EPA-approved labs, we also know that fleets want to see real-world savings, and XL Hybrids is delivering on that front too. Many alternative solutions also require government incentives for the payback numbers to pencil out, whereas the XL Hybrid system can provide a great payback on its own for fleets that have high utilization. And we'll show you how that's worked. Another key point here is that vehicle uptime is and should be the #1 factor in choosing an alternative technology. And I'll show you how XL's system is designed to ensure that your fleet vehicles stay available. And finally, of course, great customer service and informed, satisfied customers is one of our key goals, because we all understand that each fleet we sell to has a primary focus other than saving fuel and reducing emissions. And so our primary objective is not to interfere with their primary business activity and only enhance it. In the following slides, I'll further explain the product, the value to fleets, which types of vocations are best suited, and how you can take advantage of it through the Drive Clean Chicago voucher program. Next slide. So XL Hybrids offers a simple solution to increase MPG by up to 25%. As you can see on the diagram, our system consists of just 3 main components: an electric traction motor, a battery pack, and a motor drive that manages the electric power flow between the traction motor and the battery. All 3 of these components are located under the vehicle, and the traction motor is the only subsystem that mechanically touches the OEM vehicle drivetrain system. So it's very simple and easy to install. The battery pack is a high voltage lithium-ion battery pack with dual redundant safety disconnects, similar to those used in other consumer and commercial electrified vehicles. And it's supplied to XL Hybrids by the world's largest automotive battery supplier, Johnson Controls. XL Hybrids technology uses regenerative braking to generate 100% of the system's electricity and fuel savings. During vehicle deceleration, the electric traction motor assists with braking the vehicle and converts that energy back to electricity to maintain charge on the hybrid battery pack. Then as the driver accelerates, the hybrid battery releases that stored energy to the electric motor, helping to propel the vehicle in parallel with the OEM gas powertrain, which is always on. Essentially, our system is capturing normally wasted braking energy and then reapplying it to help accelerate the vehicle and offset peak fuel usage from the gas powertrain. The electric assist through the traction motor increases MPG by up to 25%, and our system provides you also with more low-end torque than the base system. So because of this system architecture and because the OEM powertrain is always on, if the hybrid system is ever off for any reason, the traction motor just becomes freewheeling and the vehicle operates like a regular OEM van or truck, eliminating any vehicle downtime. Next slide. So here you see a photograph of the XL hybrid system installed on a Ford Cutaway. It can be installed on a new or existing vehicle in just hours. The components are safely located between the OEM chassis frame rails. The lithium-ion battery pack is located just under the vehicle floor. The motor drive unit is mounted underneath the protective battery box, so you can't see it in this photo. It's below the battery. And the entire hybrid system here in this vehicle application is just located essentially within a 4-foot square. As you can see, the only place we touch the OEM vehicle is replacing the original drive shaft with a shortened drive shaft so the traction motor can be installed in line between the transmission and the rear differential. The overall system weight is less than 400 pounds net, making it one of the lowest weight hybrid solutions on the market. And in some applications where there's sensitivity to gross vehicle weight axle ratings, it's generally centered between the front and rear axles. The installation of the hybrid system offers easy access to individual components for service and warranty work also. And again, the OEM warranty stays intact. The OEM vehicle service can be conducted exactly the same way it's done on a stock OEM vehicle. In addition, for the hybrid system, we offer a 3-year, 75,000-mile warranty. Next slide. So many of us who've been involved in this area for decades may remember or possibly experience some of the early pioneering hybrid systems that were offered on commercial vehicles. And they were, generally speaking, more complex and caused challenges when these systems failed in the field. XL Hybrids deploys a system that is significantly less complex and therefore is resulting in higher reliability and also lower acquisition costs. Fleet managers can be confident that our system will deliver the ease of install, fast customer service, and a hybrid system that ensures nearly 100% vehicle operational uptime. Many of our fleet customers ask, what makes XL different when compared to other alt-fuel options, and the answer is simple. XL offers similar sustainability enhancements, but it has less commodity sensitivity for the cost savings, and it drives without compromise and also gives the enhanced drivability with better torque. You won't need any special fueling infrastructure, you won't need any driver training, and there's no range limitations. In fact, the range is increased. Because it's a regenerative braking system, hybrid system, it has no fueling costs for the hybrid portion of the fuel, and this is essentially a zero-cost alt-fuel for that portion of the driving power. No matter how low the cost of gasoline drops, you'll always be producing cost savings. Next slide. So what types of drive cycles or vocations is this most useful for? Well, if your duty cycles and driving patterns offer acceleration and deceleration on a consistent basis, then the regenerative braking of the XL hybrid system will work very well for your fleet. Some great applications for hybrids include delivery vocations with multiple stops per day, any kind of household or commercial service call business, again with multiple stops per day, whether it's consumer, household services, restaurant or retail, or commercial or industrial facility or building services. And of course, most mobility transit applications are great applications for a hybrid system because they typically have lots of acceleration and deceleration with multiple stops and high utilization of the vehicles. This includes door-to-door and dial-a-ride operations, public transit and paratransit shuttle services, campus shuttles, school activity buses, airport and hotel shuttles. And it doesn't matter if the application has highway cruise or stationary idling fuel use as well, as long as it also has considerable fuel use in accelerating and decelerating operations. By contrast, this is not the solution if your primary activity is cruising on the highway across the prairie states. Next slide. So how do we create value for the fleets? This comes in several ways. I mean, the first and most obvious one is the fuel savings. We can reduce fuel use by up to 20%. Second is improving driver productivity, and simply put, this means if a vehicle is using 20% less fuel, this means the driver is spending less time pumping gas over the lifetime of the vehicle. Third, the regenerative braking system allows the driver to use the brakes less often, extending brake life and reducing maintenance costs. Finally, because the system offers additional torque with the electric motor, fleets can opt to downsize their engine when they make the OEM vehicle purchase and save more. So for instance, GM vans are offered in a 6-liter and a 4.8-liter engine, and if you're a fleet that normally purchased the 6-liter engine, you could choose the 4.8-liter with the hybrid system, have similar low-end torque that you had with the original 6-liter system, and save $900 off of the OEM sticker price. With the Ford Transit van, the engine price savings can be almost $2,000. Additionally, fleets want to promote the good they're doing for the environment through their corporate sustainability programs, and that's why each XL hybrid system comes with a set of hybrid decals that are applied during the installation process, and XL will often work closely with our customers to help promote their green story in local or national media outlets. So you're on the XL Link slide. In addition, we install a continuous data link from every vehicle with our hybrid system. We can collect hundreds of vehicle operational data points, including mileage and fuel usage and idling and speed data. Using this data, we can provide our customers with performance analysis reports and alert them if there's a need for vehicle service. With XL Link, we're able to support our customers with a 99.9% or greater vehicle uptime. Next slide. So as I mentioned at the beginning, while we have tested our system successfully on EPA-approved lab cycles and achieved greater than 25% MPG increase on city drive cycles, we also know that fleets want to see real-world results. And we're delivering that for many large fleets, including some of the names listed here on the slide. There are several case studies from these fleets you can download on our website. Coca-Cola, just as an example, has a published case study with the XL hybrid system substantiating 20% fuel savings, validated over hundreds of vehicles and millions of miles with us, showing a 2 to 3x return on the investment, and that's without any incentives. For fleets like Coca-Cola, this can add up to more than $20,000 net savings over the life of the vehicle. Next slide. Now this brings us to the incentive program in the Drive Clean Chicago program. And this greatly, of course, enhances the rate of payback for fleets. Here you can see all of the OEM platform models that we offer a hybrid upfit for on the Drive Clean Chicago program. With the 80% voucher in the Chicago area, the net cost to fleets is just over $2,000 for a GM or Ford van and less than $4,000 for a Class 3 to 6 Ford, GM, or a Isuzu truck. This is the lowest cost hybrid system on the Chicago program that I'm aware of, and even in today's low gas price environment, and for a fleet with even more moderate annual mileage usage, this can pay for itself in just 1 to 2 years, and then just be money in the bank after that. Also, if you lease your vehicles, we can roll this into a new or existing lease. We work with all the major leasing companies already. We have local install facilities in the Chicago area and can do a one-day turnaround for a single vehicle install on an existing vehicle. Or we can do this as part of a ship-through order for new vehicle purchases through one of our upfit partner facilities. XL Hybrids will take care of all of the Drive Clean Chicago paperwork and voucher payment processing. You, the fleet, only pay the net price you see here and sign 3 forms during the process. So in closing, when you think about other options that you spend $2,000 on for your OEM vehicle purchases, you might ask yourself, why aren't I doing this on every single new vehicle purchase that I make? Thanks, appreciate your time, and now I'm going to hand it over to Tony.
Hello, good morning to the panel. My name is Anthony Wojtowicz. I own Quality Carpet and Upholstery Cleaning. I'm in Bolingbrook, Illinois. We're a southwest suburb of Chicago, and I do believe Dave Williams is probably right in my backyard.
Yeah, I just noticed that. You're probably right.
Small world. This is my 12th business vehicle that I put in service over 28 years of being in the cleaning business under my name and a couple of years working for other companies. And by far, this has been the most exciting service vehicle to put on the street, largely because of the finding of and experience with the XL hybrid system. Previous to owning this vehicle had replaced a diesel-powered van of a similar style, that the equipment itself had become unserviceable. And with the changes in emissions technology and such, what was available to my business 10 to 12 years ago was no longer available, so we had to switch to another gasoline-powered van with this one. Initially, I was a little disappointed with the fuel mileage of the van in the stock form, but I was stuck with it. I did try some E85 also in this van, but I could no longer use that once the cleaning equipment was installed because it would be severely damaging to the cleaning equipment. The type of equipment that we use is mounted permanently to the van, and it has a 20 horsepower motor that powers the cleaning system, so you have to be very careful with the fuels that you use. And none of the manufacturers of that equipment have been able to supply anything that was compatible with E85. So to find the XL hybrid system within doing some research of propane and CNG was real exciting to me. when doing the research, I found that the Drive Clean Chicago program had the voucher, and that was helpful to a small operation like mine to get this unit installed in the vehicle. The other thing that made it attractive, it was Ford QVM approved, which means we didn't have to worry about damaging any warranties on the vehicle, and we knew that XL Hybrids was going to be doing the right thing. So doing further research, everything fit. Everything was a good fit to us. It took up no additional cargo room in the van. We didn't have to carry fuel tanks of an odd variety, which would have taken up valuable cargo room for the business. It was a pretty much an invisible system in the vehicle, so everything is mounted underneath. In our area, we do have access to diesel, and we do have access to propane auto gas, but this was very attractive to us because it required no additional training. There was no buttons or switches to flip or to learn, and the operation was pretty much invisible to the operator. Also, just like Ed was saying, if the system were to fail, there's going to be no change in motivating the vehicle for the remainder of your workday or back to the shop. If our vehicles freeze, and we do have some severe cold temperatures in our area, as Dave can attest to, if our vehicles freeze, it can cause thousands of dollars of damage to the equipment. So that was something that we had to look at, that any potential failure with this system would not cause us to damage the cleaning units in the van. Also, we've noticed, besides the fact that with the fuel savings, that emissions are reduced, and that meets with the needs of the community and the goals of the system. We noticed that due to the regenerative process of the electric motor, that we'd see savings in brake maintenance also. I've only got about 2,300 miles of this particular system, so it's far too early to calculate long-term success. But I can already see that that we are meeting all of the goals of this, and everything that we were told about through dealing with XL Hybrids is right on the money. It's simple. It doesn't take up cargo room, like I said. Also, it doesn't overweigh the vehicle. The weight of the system is fairly minimal. The voucher process itself was seamless. Everything went very, very well. I could only wish that everything that we try to do in life went as well as our experience with XL Hybrids, but it was installed promptly, and it operated exactly like we expected it to, and I have nothing but good to say. I have recommended this to various other people, and I find this to be a win-win for us. We're hopeful to see other designs for XL Hybrids that we might be able to take advantage of in the future. We figure that we're going to get a return on the investment of this in about 2.5 years, and as fuel prices tend to increase, that return on investment should be even a little earlier than that. Down the line with this, there would probably even be a resale value, but we don't anticipate looking into that program for many, many years from now. So we'll go to the next slide, please. And this is the service unit that it's installed in. We try to keep it clean. The hybrid logos are very visible to people that see it, and they sometimes do inquire. A lot of my customers do have hybrid vehicles of their own, so that's proven to be a win-win, because people do buy hybrid vehicles for various different reasons. But from a business standpoint, the fact that we can save fuel, which saves us money, and that we're helping to provide cleaner air in the Chicago area, it's just a simple win-win for us. That's pretty much the end of my part of the presentation.
Tony, excellent. Thank you so much to you and Ed. A lovely presentation on the technology, and just really appreciate hearing your experience, Tony, with with the technology and the benefits that you're seeing, and really just, your feedback on the program and how the program's helped you. Thanks a lot. All the speakers, just a fantastic job.